The Ten Commandments. Welcome. Today, we'll all see whether or not we're law-abiding citizens, but not citizens of wherever earthly place we live in, but rather whether we are following the laws given to Yahuwah's chosen nation when he delivered them out of bondage. First, let's go over the importance of rules, because lawless folks be like, that's just not us though. Laws, rules, commandments, whatever you want to call them, are designed to create a cohesive and organized way of life in which people can have a set of guidelines and expectations to follow, and are also given solutions for what to do when these guidelines aren't followed nor those expectations met. Just like in our homes, we learn the rules. We know that the rules make the household run smoothly. When the rules aren't followed, we can put unnecessary strain on the other members of the household, causing bickering, resentment, and other consequences, both natural and divine. What we don't always realize about rules is that they also act as a spiritual shield that keep what I'll call unclean things from having access to us as beings. When we break the rules given to us by Yahuwah, we're making a sin. A sin is an act that is against the law. Sin opens the door to unclean things, which will begin to negatively affect our physical lives. With all that being said, let's begin. The first 4 commandments are about how we are to serve and revere Yahuwah. Let's start at Exodus chapter 20, verses 1 to 3. That's the first commandment. And Yahuwah spake all these words, saying, I am Yahuwah thy Elohah, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other Elohim before me. Yahuwah is our deliverer. He is the creator. He sends his word to do all things that will benefit us. Why should we want to dedicate ourselves to anyone or anything else? That's idolatry. Unfortunately, idolatry is the current way of life in most societies. Everyone loves themselves, their families, their possessions, and even their little jobs more than Yahuwah. This ought not be so. The things we serve in the physical and during the day will be the same things we serve in the spirit when we sleep. So let's not make ourselves subject unto unprofitable things. Exodus chapter 20, verses 4 to 5. This is the second commandment. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahuwah thy Elohah, am a jealous Elohah, visiting the iniquity of the father upon the children, unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. All the things that we can see are created things, and though they're made by Yahuwah, they're in no way worthy of the same amount of adoration as him. This commandment begins simply by telling us not to make images of any sort: human, animal, nature, sims, the luminaries, water, creatures, and whatever may be in the earth beneath. So already we're doing wrong almost always. Then we're charged not to bow ourselves or worship in any form these man-made things. Yeah, whole religions are breaking this rule. Let's go to the 3rd commandment, Exodus chapter 20, verse 7. Thou shalt not take the name of Yahuwah thy Elohah in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. This rule is often misunderstood, and actually people, while trying to keep this commandment, oftentimes end up breaking it because they misunderstand one word. Vain. What is vain? Let's look. Vain is to make unsuccessful or of no value. How can Yahuwah's name become valueless? Well, by not using it or misusing it. By not using it, we take the glory from his glorious name. And by misusing it, we give ourselves and others the chance to blaspheme Yahuwah and use his name as a byword, which is simply unacceptable. Commandment number 4. Exodus chapter 20 verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it set apart. 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work. But the 7th day is the Sabbath day of Yahuwah thy Elohah. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor the stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days Yahuwah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the 7th day. Wherefore Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day, and hallowed it. The Sabbath day is not only a day off, but it's a heavenly day of rest that existed in the unseen world, and is reflected in many other sevenfold laws, acts as well, that we'll see in the Bible. We're not better than Yahuwah, so why should we pretend to be by trying to outwork him? The next 6 laws help us to govern our physical lives and keep peace among the world's other inhabitants. Most are things we find even in the laws and countries all around the world. So let's go. The 5th commandment, Exodus chapter 20, verse 12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which Yahuwah thy Elohah giveth thee. This is the first commandment with a promise. By following this law, Yahuwah's chosen nation was promised longevity. Despite how we feel about our parents, we should still do our best to be respectful unto them. That's not to say we should put them before Yahuwah, or follow them instead of Yahusha, because they're not perfect, and in fact, often quite flawed when they don't know Yahuwah. But we should still try to treat them with dignity, since Yahuwah used them to bring us into this physical realm. Commandment 6. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20, verse 13. Thou shalt not kill. Plain and simple. Breaking this law would land us in jail in countries all around the world, so most dare not break this rule anyway for fear of human punishments. Number 7. Exodus chapter 20, verse 14. Thou shalt not commit adultery, not to be confused with fornication. An adulterer is someone who is already married to someone else and is cheating on them with another person. That is adultery. If you are an adulterer, you are already married, or the person you're cheating with is already married. Either way, it's wrong. Whether you're married or the other person is married, Yahuwah created men and women to marry one another and to be spiritually bound. By cheating, you're breaking this spiritual connection, or you're damaging it. Not cool, bro. Let's go to number 8. Exodus chapter 20, verse 15. Thou shalt not steal. Again, clear as day. This crime is punishable by law in most countries the world around. Number 9. Exodus chapter 20, verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Bearing false witness is saying you saw someone do something that they didn't do. This is dangerous. You're lying on someone and can cause them to suffer when they've done nothing deserving of punishment. It's basically perjury. And finally, number 10. Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. Coveting is seeing and feeling a deep desire to obtain something that already belongs to someone else. This is why people should stay off social media. It can cause people to covet, which can cause feelings of malcontent that may lead to theft. Be happy with whatever Yahuwah has given you. So, are you a spiritual law-abiding citizen? If not, get to work. You don't want to be found so when Yahusha returns. Until next time, Hallelujah.